Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. It is March 31st, and you found the Everything Buckeye Nation show. I'm your host, Jake Smith. Next to me, as always, Corey Boyd. We're sporting these new Producer G graphics. Are you kidding me? Corey, man, I know we're not big time just yet, but at least we look like it, don't you think?
Man, we look like $1 million. Producer G did his thing. Give it up to Producer G in the comments. Listen, we're all at home with nothing to do, so you might as well give it up to Producer G for making us look great. And you ain't seen nothing yet. Why do I know? Because I've seen it already. Woo! He is the man. Buckeye Nation, let's go. Give it up to our guy, Producer G.
Yes, sir. Like you said, you ain't seen nothing yet. We got a brand new, really, landscape for the show tonight. Excited to show you. Appreciate everybody in the comments section. Excited to be live on, we're normally live on Facebook, but also added Twitter and YouTube. So if you're joining us there, thank you so much. Give us a like and a share. Share this into your favorite groups, or some Wolverine fans. Share it their way too. I mean, come on. We're all having fun here. It's the Everything Buckeye Nation show, and I know you're watching from home because you're not allowed to go anywhere, but let us know where home is. Where are you watching from? Are you still working? Are you working from home? I'm working from home. Poor Corey's got to go into the office and train people. You believe that? How was that today, Corey?
You know, I'm an essential person, I guess. So I got to train, I got to work, I got to do all of the above, my life on the line. But it is what it is.
That's good stuff. Appreciate everybody in the comments section. I am monitoring Facebook. Timothy Roberts, Kyle Barr, Clyde Boyd. My mom, Tisha Smith. What's up, Mom? I hope you're feeling better. Let me know how you're feeling in the comments section. Man, we got all the comments up there, too. That's pretty sharp. I like that. This new feature. We see comments coming in on Facebook, YouTube. Norman Klein, what's up? How you doing? Everybody in the comment section, that is what's up. Kyle Barr says quarantine's not too bad, but he can't go bowling anymore, so that is ruined for sure. I tell you, man, it's been pretty rough. And Eddie, our guy Eddie Stats on Facebook says, I don't want to say this, but we probably won't see any football till late September, early October. Man, I don't want to hear any part of that, Eddie. Come on, we're having fun here. And major thanks to Joseph Lee Shiflett for the 200 stars. You may notice on Facebook there are stars you can give out. I don't know a damn thing about them, how those work, but Joseph's figured it out, so you should too, I guess. Raymond Hansel in here says, let's hear it for Tony Alford. Lunchtime with my dogs. Miss y'all, man. Raymond out on the West Coast getting a late lunch. 4 o'clock lunch, man. What are you having? What are you having today? Supporter Julie is in Savannah. Kyle Barr's in Newark. Clyde Boyd, everybody shouting out Producer G. How could you not? My guy Mac Daddy says, what's up? How you doing? Josh, glad to see you. But man, I'm feeling good. There's a lot to talk about, so let's dive right in. Topic 1 of tonight's show. Give it up for Tony Alford for landing the #1 recruit in the country. At the running back position, I should clarify, Travion Henderson. I mean, first off, look at this graphic, man. This is sharp stuff. Woo! And look at those numbers, man. Almost 3,200 all-purpose yards, 53 touchdowns last year. Of course, that gives you the Gatorade Player of the Year. He's from Hopewell, Virginia. 6 foot 205. This man, if you haven't seen his highlight film, he looks like he's running against middle schoolers out there, man. I tell you, it is absurd. And a lot of people are saying this guy is going to be the Reggie Bush for Ryan Day's offense. Now, I'm not normally one to get too ahead of myself with predictions or anything like that, comparisons, but when you hear about Reggie Bush, I mean, it's hard not to smile, don't you think?
You text me that, I just want to let you guys know, when we talk about, behind the scenes, I call Jake the Shefty of Buckeyes. Buckeye news, Buckeye stuff. That's my guy, all right? Hey, I go to bat for him. I will argue. I will let you have it. It doesn't matter. That's my guy. He's the Shefty of Buckeye stuff. And when he texts, he is they call him the Reggie Bush. That's who they compare him by. Listen, that's all I need to hear. Now, that's a lot of pressure. Don't get me wrong, but pull up the video. I don't say film because, listen, nobody has film anymore, all right? If you have some film, then good for you. Pull up the YouTube video on this young man, and you cannot help but get excited for our Ohio State Buckeyes. And I will tell you this, I was completely wrong. Egg in my face, poo-poo to me for even worry about recruiting in the new regime, because we are kicking butt, taking names, whatever you want to call it. I am excited. Why can't he just come now? Why finish high school? Who cares? We can't do anything sports anyways. Just bring him in now. He can't go to school. He can't do high fives or nothing. Bring him in now. Let's go. I kid, but I'm ready to roll. Jake, I am excited. I don't care. I believe the hype. I know people will be like, slow down, brother. Let him get past senior year first. Who cares? Bring him now.
I mean, the numbers speak for themselves either way. I mean, 3,200 yards, 53 touchdowns in a single season. I mean, that's like 15 games max, dude. That's ridiculous. That's over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns a game. I mean, Virginia's a talented state as well. I don't think he's playing at the highest level, like D1 here in Ohio, how that is. But it's kind of like Julian Fleming, the number 1 receiver out of last year's class, kind of played at a small school. Not great competition, but the traits are there. He's big. He's strong. I mean, 6'2", 205. First off, I didn't know that Reggie Bush was that big because he was so damn fast and shifty. I thought he was a little like scat back, kind of like Darren Sproles. I never realized he is listed at 6', 205. And that's what Travion Henderson is, man. And it's funny because 2 weeks ago, we're talking about Evan Pryor, who's the number 6 running back in the country. And we're like, all right, things are getting back on track. We talked about Travion a little bit. There's a little bit of a rumor that, he might be next, but how often do rumors come true that you're going to land the next Reggie Bush, number 1 tailback in the country? I guess if you're Tony Alford, Ryan Day, and the Ohio State Buckeyes, things might come a little bit easier. Want to see a few of the comments in here on Facebook. You got anything over there on YouTube, Corey, or you can see them on your screen now too?
YouTube, Norman Klein says a 2021 class lit so far. Fire emoji. Fire, fire, fire. That's from Norman Klein. So they like
it. Line. Yeah. So you can see your comments on the screen there as well if you haven't seen them in the section here. My mom says she said, headache, lungs burn, cough sucks, but I am good. Always looking at the bright side, that mom of mine. Eddie Stats in Kentucky. Ray says he's having a turkey sandwich with some celery. Nope, hard pass on that for me. And a side of Buckeye love. There you going. Top fan Rick DeSantis says in the running for 3 more 5-star recruits as well. Like you said, Norman, on Facebook or on YouTube, the 2021 class is lit. It's absurd. Cheryl's in here. My guy Travis Napper, David Hemphill, everybody in the comment section. Appreciate you guys. I'll get to your questions. But I want to talk a little bit more about this Travion Henderson news, this recruiting class, because people are talking, this is a really good job. Ryan Day surpassed all expectations. I want to give you a little tip on how good this class is. All right, we've only got 15 kids in this recruiting class so far. Normal recruiting classes are right around 25, give or take 3 or probably about 3 either way. We've only got 15 kids in this class, and if this class was done as is right now, it would rank 7th in the whole country in last year's recruiting rankings for the whole season. So, and that's better than any Big Ten school. It's almost like the Ohio State's almost not even like in the Big Ten anymore or competing with the Big Ten, at least recruiting wise. It's Ohio State, it's Alabama, it's Clemson. If you want to throw Georgia in there, I can understand just because they're recruiting at a high level, but I'm not seeing it on the field for Georgia. But right now, this class is the number one class by a mile. By a mile, has a great chance to finish as the best recruiting class ever, which is almost hard to wrap your mind around. But on my list here, I mean, like Rick DeSantis, I think, said in the comment section that we could land 3 more 5-star kids. I mean, we're leading for 2 guys in the top 10, the top defensive tackle, JT Tuamaloau. I actually think I got that one right. And Emeka Egbuka, both out of Washington State. The Pacific Northwest pipeline to Columbus is here. 2 5-stars coming down the pipe. I'm not going as far to say it's a lock, but right now, if they had to pick today, they'd be Buckeyes. And the class just rolls on, man. It just rolls on and on and on. Like you said, Corey, that was kind of a thing coming into the Ryan Day tenure. Can he recruit? Can he recruit like Urban Meyer? Well, I remember saying before the season started, he's got to show it on the field, because if he confirms on the field that we're not losing a step, he'll be okay recruiting. I think it's safe to say he's doing a little bit better than okay, going 13-1. I think last year was one of the best seasons in Ohio State football history. We'll get to that a little bit later. You may see at the bottom of your screen the top 5. Top 5 we do every week. This week is favorite games of all time for the Buckeyes. So we'll get to that a little bit later. Let us know in the comments what you want to see in top 5s in future shows, because we're kind of running ideas a little bit. Doesn't have to be sports related. Could be movies. Could be shirts. Corey's always got a nice shirt. I was telling him about his shirt before the show. So let us know what you think. Ray Hansel says, y'all need to watch Trey Sermon film. That dude's yards after contact are insanity. Corey, I think it's time for you to take over here, because with bringing up Trey Sermon, we're going to bring in a new topic that I teased last week. And there you go. Man, listen, Corey, anything that's on your mind, I know what's on your mind this time. Take it away.
Before I go, I want to say shout out to my supporters, all of our supporters scrolling on the bottom of the screen. We love you. You have stuck with us through thick and thin. Thank you. You know who you are. Now, this was brought to my attention. I say, man, listen a lot before I go. Now, I'm not going to read any numbers when it comes to this young man we have coming to Ohio State, Mr. Trey Sermon. This is not about numbers. This is about fans who like to poo-poo on things before things even come. I'm excited that he's coming to Ohio State, because I was worried about Master Teague and his burning Achilles, that he was hurt. I said it. What are we going to do at running back? Jake, what are we going to do? G, what are we going to do? Buckeye Nation, what are we going to do? And we get a running back in the transfer portal. Now, not Ohio State fans. And let me give you some advice. Listen, sometimes we got to stay off the internet. Me too. Because they get me riled up because of the things that they say. Now, some may be true. Some may have facts to it, but I don't care. It makes me sick. Oh, there goes Ohio State getting another player out of the portal. What do you want us to do? If it's there, that's what you use. The hate that we get makes me just want to run into a wall. And guess what? I can do it because I am quarantined when I don't have to work. I have to sit at home, so I can run into as many walls as I want. We'll get into his numbers right after this, but I am excited that he decided to go to Ohio State. He could have went anywhere, but guess what? He decided to go to a winning program. And guess what? I know what some people will say, but you can't beat Clemson. Shut up. I don't want to hear about that either. I am happy he is coming here with Justin Fields. I am ready to see that combo. But I am sick and tired of the hate we get for no reason. I said no reason at all, except for we just have greatness written all over us. Trey Sermon, thank you for coming to Ohio State through the transfer portal. And if people want to hate on it, let them hate. I don't care. We're using what is available to us through the NCAA rules. And that's all I got. Listen up. We're here.
Folks, give it up for Corey W. Boyd in the comments section. Let us know what you thought of that first Man Listen topic, segment, whatever you want to call it. Good stuff, Corey. I agree with you, man. We seem to get all this hate on I don't know. That's just how it goes for the Buckeyes. You're either a diehard Buckeye fan or you hate the Buckeyes' guts. And that's just how it goes. Trey Sermon sees, hey, there's an elite team that needs some help at the running back position. I can go be a stud for 1 year, go off to the NFL. I mean, hell, when Trey Sermon announced he was going to transfer from Oklahoma, it was kind of like, well, it's almost a no-brainer. It was almost a done deal before he even had it. And, this whole virus comes up. He can't even visit Columbus, but he remembers his time as a recruit visiting here. Trey Sermon wanted to be a Buckeye, but J.K. Dobbins committed before he did. Dobbins was a higher rated recruit. We told Trey Sermon, sorry, he's out of Georgia. He picked Oklahoma, had a great 3 years with Oklahoma. And now it's funny how life works this way, because J.K. Dobbins just rushed for 2,000 yards as a junior and is going pro. And now there's a spot open. How about that? Trey Sermon says, I don't need to visit anywhere. I know where I'm going. In fact, great story about Trey Sermon. When he came on, when he did a little interview here in the past week or so, a couple weeks after he announced he was coming to Ohio State, there's a great bit in that interview that said he told his mom, don't talk to anybody else. Ohio State reached out. That's where I'm going. Like, man, listen, this kid knows what he's doing. Look at those numbers, man. I mean, that is a solid veteran back. 2,500 total yards, 25 touchdowns. His first career touchdown was actually in Ohio Stadium on a pass from Corey's boy, Baker Mayfield. Now, that, didn't go so well for the Buckeyes then. Something tells me a lot more touchdowns coming this man's way. 7.1 yards per carry. He injured himself as a sophomore and then never really got back into the full rotation as the starter, was splitting carries, and then he got hurt again this past November, actually same day as Marcus Crowley did. But came out the past couple days. Trey Sermon actually said it was just a torn LCL. Now, I'm no doctor. I'm not going to pretend to be one. But anytime it's not the ACL, that sounds like good deal for me. He should be good to go by the time if football ever starts back up. He's going to be good to go. And that's important, man. I mean, look at those numbers. That's some pretty good stuff right there. I'm excited about Trey Sermon. He posted a sweet graphic of him in a Buckeye uniform. Looks like he's going to wear number 4 like he did at Oklahoma. Now, Corey, hear me out. I want a rating, a 1 to 10 rating on this, because I read this online and I love it, but I want to hear your thoughts. An Oklahoma fan said on Twitter that Trey Sermon's nickname is the Preacher. And I'm curious as to your thoughts on the Preacher as a nickname.
Before I give that rating, I have to shout out our supporter, David Hemphill, 350 stars from Mr. Hemphill. Shout out, my guy. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. 350 stars, my guy, David Hemphill. Hope you're well and you're safe and you're staying home. Thank you, my guy. And let me tell you why I like the nickname, Jake. I'm going to tell you why I like it. I think you're going to laugh. And it has nothing to do with me at all. I am thinking about the many ways that Gus Johnson can play off of it when he scores a touchdown or makes a big play. Because me and you love Gus Johnson.
The GOAT.
And Joe Klatt. That combo, listen. I don't care what nobody says. If you hate on them two, I don't know what to tell you. That is just gold right there. And I'm just thinking of all the things he can say about that nickname, the preacher, the gospel. That I don't even want to know what he's going to say. But I love it just for that fact right there. I give it a 10.
Hell yeah. I do too, man. And, as Julie points out, it makes sense. Trey Sermon, it's almost kind of easy. He announced that he was transferring to Ohio State on a Sunday. So there's your, you can't go to church, but you're still getting your sermon. Shout out to David Hemphill again for 350 stars. Again, folks, I don't know what those are. I should look into that, but I'm not a professional. So I'll figure it out. Let us know if you know how it goes. Corey, people seem to love the man listen. Lee Travis in here. No comment on Meatloaf yet. A little surprised to see that from Lee Travis. Mac Daddy loved it. Our guy Travis Napper loves it. Man, listen, I love it. Hell yeah. Clyde loves it too, okay? I'm not surprised. A little brotherly love.
I give props when props is due. We're over on YouTube. Cheryl is over on YouTube. She says, hey. Norman says, wish Gus and Joel did every Ohio State game. We would be literally in heaven if that happened. We would be. Now, I got to give props when props is due. Jake suggested that part of the show. It was not me. He was the one that said, you say man listen a lot before you go on your rants. And I said, do I? He said yes. And he said, we should put that. So I give props when props is due, and I keep it real. So that was Jake's idea. I didn't even know I said it before I go off on random people that get on my last freaking nerves. But that's not the point. So I got to give props to Jake on that one.
Well, thanks. It was, it just made sense to sort of try and fit in a segment for you to go off because everybody loves that. And if you become a supporter of the show, of the page, of us, because we're quarantined right now, still trying to make it happen. And that's the only way we can keep going is from the supporters. So as Corey shouted that out earlier, you can see them along the bottom too. We wouldn't be here, literally would not be able to stream this right now if it weren't for the supporters. So extreme thanks to you folks. And if you support the show, you get a little extra behind the scenes of Corey getting pissed off, and who doesn't love that? I mean, come on. So, as you can see, comments are rolling in. Keep it going. Let us know where you're watching from. I saw a few of those earlier, but and I'm not getting comments rolling in on my phone. So help us out as well. But I tell you, Corey, it's been a little bit of weird times, but we're all banding together. Our gal Laura BP said she needs her Buckeye family to de-stress. I tell you, man, this recruiting news has been great for, anything. Sports, hell, give me anything. I watched table tennis. I'm a pretty big fan of ping pong, table tennis, whatever you call it. Put anything on. Do you see Cherry Pit Spitting was on ESPN the other day? I was watching. I wanted to throw some money on that. I tell you how bad it was. Last week, I got back from vacation last week. I went out to Portland, Oregon, and went all down the Pacific coast. Not all the way down, but, a couple hours down. I was supposed to hit Denver on the way back, Laura, but I didn't make it because my cousin wasn't feeling too hot. So keep it safe here. Anyways, I get back on Monday night. And my wife and dog weren't coming home till Sunday. So I had 6 days of by myself in this house. I remember, I didn't tell you guys this. I was laying flat on my back on the living room floor, looking up at the ceiling. It's like 11 a.m. And I see this spider crawling across the ceiling. And ordinarily I'd be like, oh, damn. But I was like, hey, what's going on? This is weird times, man. They get you thinking differently. Isolation is kind of weird. If you have a funny quarantine story, let me know in the comments. Again, they're not coming through. I see what I can do here. You got anything over there, Corey?
Cheryl says, good job, Jake. Love the segment name. You're getting props. Sweet. Over on YouTube. Thanks. And Lee has sent 300 stars. Lee Travis.
Oh my God.
Shout out to Lee Travis over on Facebook. Lee, supporter extraordinaire as well. Supporters coming through, dropping stars like it's nobody's business. And David Hemphill also said spicy meatballs.
Man, I'm gonna need to get a shirt or something. You know what I should do? I should do a supporters video with just a meatball hoagie from Subway or something.
You should, man. Listen, you blow up.
Major thanks to Lee Travis for the 300 stars. Raymond Hansel says Cardale Jones. All of mine are coming in kind of funky, but here we are. Kyle says stars are extra donations. Fans buy stars, give them to you, same as a cash donation. Damn.
Hey.
Supporters, man. That's I tell
love,
you,
man.
They really are keeping the show going.
That's love.
That is love. Our guy Preston Dunn says, what up, Buckeye Nation? Stephen Michael, you guys are awesome. Feels good to be a Buckeye. Twitter comment. Here we go. Jizzle Stojakovic says,
hey.
Go Bucks. What up? How you doing?
Stojakovic. I like it.
Who was that? Was that, you remember Peja Stojakovic in the NBA?
Yeah, man. Sacramento. And he played for the Hornets as well.
Did he?
Yeah.
That man could strap. Do us a favor, folks, about halfway through the show here, share this video into your favorite groups or to your rivals or whatever, trying to keep the show moving along here. And as always, your questions and comments are appreciated. Jim Wallace asked about Harry Miller at center, Myers at left guard. I'll get to that in just a minute. But do us a favor, share this around, like the page, share the page. Whatever you can do to help us out is greatly, greatly appreciated. As, it can kind of seem like we're saying it a lot, but it really is the entire reason we are doing and are able to be doing this show. So thank you for your support. Moving along to the depth chart, we're going to specifically target the running backs and receivers today, and we're going to go running backs first. But Jim's comment, Harry Miller at center, Myers at left guard. Harry Miller is going to be the center of the future, but with Josh Myers coming back for his final year, he's going to stay at center. Myers is going to stay at center, and Harry Miller is going to start at left guard as a true sophomore. And then he'll move over. He'll do the old Billy Price, Pat Elflein technique, play guard, and then move to center. Where your future is in the NFL. So Harry Miller will get his taste of playing time at left guard this year before moving to center after Josh Myers wins the Remington and then is the first center taken out of Miamisburg, Ohio. Appreciate everybody in the comments section. As you can see on your screen, pretty sweet graphic there. Again, shout out Producer G. Man. He doesn't have a mic on right now, but that's pretty sharp. So let us know in the comments, who's going to start at running back? You got Marcus Crowley. He should be healthy by fall camp. Master Teague, his Achilles injury apparently wasn't as bad as they initially feared. He should be good to go. And then Trey Sermon, the proven veteran from Oklahoma's explosive offense. Who will it be? Let us know in the comments section. Give us your predictions. Corey, what are you thinking about this?
Man, this is a hard one. It's really hard. I do not think Master Teague is going to start. I just don't.
There's no reason to rush him back.
Yeah, Achilles injuries are rough. You just don't injure your Achilles and come back. Yeah, I'm back 100%. Let's go. Second of all, like you just said, Jake, why rush him now? Why? You have depth now. You have 2 running backs that you can use. Master Teague's out. I think he is out of the equation. People can say that's blasphemy. What are you talking about? Yeah, whatever. All right. I think he's out. I think it's between Sermon and Crowley. Now, I know people are going to say, how could you say Sermon? He just got here. Where is your loyalty with the Buckeyes? You got to pick Crowley. You do. Yeah. I don't know. It's tough. I think this one really will go down to who wins in, well, I would say springtime football, but we don't have football right now. But you know what I mean. Who wins the battle in camp, who Day thinks is the best. I know that is a cop-out answer, but that's the truth. But if you made me pick feet to the fire, I'm going to go with Crowley. Oh, nobody seen that coming. They knew I was going to say Sermon. They knew it, didn't they? Corey's going Sermon. He had man listen Sermon. He's going, I tricked every single one of you, didn't I? Yeah, I'm going Crowley. He's been here. I think he is not Tathan. Oh, low blow. That's right. I did it. Sue me. He's not going anywhere. I think he is going to like the competition. I think it's going to put fuel to the fire. This is his chance to take the brass ring and run with it. And I think he will win the job. Now, will he keep it? That's a different story. I don't know, but I think he will win. I think he will be the day one starter. Now, they'll probably split carries. I don't think it'll be 80-20, 90-10, more like 60-40, but that number one starting running back will be number 23 whenever football resumes. Please, baby Jesus, let it be soon. But I'm picking number 23 as my starting running back. I think everybody thought I was going with Sermon. No.
Well, I certainly did, so I will. I'm going with Trey Sermon. Okay, this is one of those scenarios where he's a proven veteran back from a talented offense, 2,500 yards, 25 touchdowns in his career. He's not coming here to be the backup. Now, that doesn't mean when Ohio State hosts the Wolverines in late November that he won't be the starter, because that very may well be the case if I can speak. But he's going to get the starting carries. He's going to be given the starting role at the beginning of the season in fall camp. I bet he gets the first carry of the season, assuming Justin Fields doesn't keep it. And I think he will be the go-to guy for the beginning of the season. And if he has a stranglehold on it, if his tape or film, as you would love to say, Corey, if it shows you can't take him off the field, then Ryan Day won't. But he's going to get the first shot. He's not coming here to play second fiddle, but he might end up being second fiddle. And that's just fine, because when you got these talented guys that just need to get healthy, I think you're right about Teague. Great comment here from Lee Travis, who said, Tough Borland was never the same after his injury. That Achilles, man, that slows you down, especially in a position where you're supposed to be explosive, like running back. I love Master Teague, man. He's one of my top 5 favorite guys on the team. I said that a few weeks ago, and I love the guy. He's a great kid, too. I mean, if you follow him on Twitter, he just brings blessings to your timeline. Great kid. But like you said, I think he's out of the equation here to start at running back, at least at the beginning of the season. It's Trey Sermon. It's Marcus Crowley. You've got Steel Chambers back there. I'm not so sure. The jury's out on Steel Chambers right now. And then true freshman Mayan Williams. He might get some carries. But here's the thing, man. J.K. Dobbins carried the ball. If it was an important drive, Dobbins was in. There's no doubt about it. Now, this is going to be a little bit different because we don't have that guy. Trey Sermon's not that guy. At least he's never been that guy. He's never been the workhorse getting 25 carries a game. He could be. Maybe he could be. Point is, the top 2 guys are going to be rotating. And then when it's halftime and the Buckeyes are up 49-7 on Maryland or Rutgers or anybody in the Big Ten, apparently, other than Penn State, those guys are done. He's not sending those top two backs out for carries in the second half. That's where Master T gets his carries. Steele Chambers, Mayan Williams get their touches because we got to keep the running backs healthy. All last year, we were like, please God, nothing happened to Justin Fields. And then when he went down against Penn State, I about cussed Ryan Day out through the television for running him on 4th and 5. And then he goes down against the Wolverines. I think our season's over. It's just, we can't have that happen. Fields has to stay healthy, of course, if you're going to have a chance at the national title. Normally, unless you got a guy named Cardale Jones, your title shot's out the window. But these guys, I've got Trey Sermon getting the majority of the first team carries early on, and we'll go from there. Let's see what the comments have to say, what you guys think about this topic. Kyle Barr says, if they're healthy, I think Sermon and Teagle split carries. Julie gives a challenge to producer G. Get Trey Sermon in a Buckeye uniform. G said, challenge accepted. I like that. Ray says, I say Sermon starts, Teagle back him up. Jury is still out on Crowley. David Hemphill, Trey Sermon will start. Master Teague will be her third down back. And then Kyle says, ask Tough Borland about Achilles injuries. Julie also said, play the Ozzy song Mr. Crowley when he goes on the field. Let me pull a Corey. Man, listen, I've been like singing that anytime he's brought up. People look at me like I'm an idiot, which could just be that I'm an idiot or they don't know the song. One way or another, I feel like an idiot when they look at me like that. But I'm sure Ohio Stadium will be bumping that through the speakers when he scores a touchdown, anything like that. How could you not? But appreciate the comments in there. We're going to move on to wide receivers and then get to our top 5 to close the show. So similar to this segment with the running backs, who will start at wide receiver? Well, you got two pretty damn good options on the outside with Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. Now, Corey, I asked you this question last time. I know what you said. I'm going to ask you again. Is that the best tandem receiver in the whole country? Who's got a better team with wide receivers like Olave and Garrett Wilson? I don't think there is anybody, but that's why I'm asking you.
You know, I don't know every team in the nation. I'm not going to be that guy that says, I sat down and I watched YouTube videos of every Division I team in NCAA and we come out on top. No, I didn't. And I don't want to because I don't like teams, all right? I don't like other teams. But listen, it's going to be hard because Olave has a chip on his shoulder because he ran the wrong route against Clemson. And my guy Wilson, let me tell you, I have been preaching him last year since the beginning of the year, and I will continue. He has the best hands on this team. The best hands. Nobody better. I don't care who you bring up. He will moss you in your face and then laugh in your face after he does it. You can find a duo. I don't know if there is one. I haven't scouted because I don't care. These two right here with Justin Fields is going to be a certified stamp it, get a notary. I don't care what you do. Is going to be a problem with a capital P. Yes.
I tell you, I mean, you saw the talent last year. It was undeniable from Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. I mean, Wilson made some absolutely absurd plays. How about the one in the Fiesta Bowl? I hate to keep going back to that Clemson game, but that might have been our first drive. They talk about climbing the ladder for a catch. This dude took the elevator to the 30th floor. I mean, Garrett Wilson is scary. Just throw the ball to him, man. Just throw him the ball. Like you said, best hands on the team. And I'm excited because Ryan Day said before football was, canceled for the spring, he said he had Garrett Wilson working in the slot as a slot receiver because he can do so much. You know, he has him back there at punt return. You see what he can do on punt return. If you put him in the slot, it's just giving him a little extra space to work with. Get this man the ball with space to work with and let him go. I mean, he was the #1 receiver recruit in the country for a reason. Out of Austin, Texas, and he picks Ohio State over Tom Herman and the Longhorns. I mean, damn, that's some pretty impressive stuff for the Buckeyes recruiting staff. Garrett Wilson at slot. If he doesn't have to play slot at all times, he can play outside. Chris Olave switching to #2, the CO2 nickname. Oh my God, man. Put a fork in me. I'm done. Chris Olave is my #1 guy on the team. Love this guy to death. So smooth. Oh my God. He's such a joy to watch. Everything he does, he makes it look so easy. So you got Chris Olave. Garrett Wilson can play outside or in the slot. If he plays outside, throw your boy Demario McCall in there, 5th-year senior. Put up or shut up. He's made some big plays for us. He's also made some plays that make us want to rip our heads off. Most notably, the muffed kick in the game in 2018, which, little teaser, might see that coming up in the top 5. But you got a lot of guys there. Jamison Williams came in with Garrett Wilson. We only signed 2 receivers in that class, in the 2019 class. Garrett Wilson and Jamison Williams. He was compared to Ted Ginn coming out of high school because he's so damn fast. If he can catch the ball, he's gone. It's kind of like a Paris Campbell situation. If he can actually physically catch the ball, see you later. He's off to the races, and that's not one you're going to win if you're not Jamison Williams. You got guys like Jalen Harris. You got guys that have been in the program for a little while, but then you got the 4-stud freshmen. Julian Fleming, #1 player in the country, as a wide receiver. You never see that. Julian Fleming, Jackson Smith-Njigba, my guy. Already, he was in my top 5 as a true freshman. He's only had 3 practices. My guy, #11. You'll see him on Saturdays this fall. G. Scott Jr., 6'3", 215, absolute physical freak. Next Michael Thomas could be with that frame and his athleticism, his strength. And then slot receiver Mookie Cooper. It's an embarrassment of riches, dude. I mean, do you remember a time where we had this many good wide receivers, Corey?
No, not at one time. They've came and left, but not all at one time.
Right, you know, because we'd have some exciting guys playing like DeVere Posey and, you know, like Santonio Holmes. We'd have like a couple, but then you'd have your Ray Small, you know. And then I get maybe Ray Small is our Demario McCall, but Demario McCall's not an idiot. I don't think.
Do that. I will not let you do it to Demario McCall. I will not.
I hope Ray Small's not watching, but who knows? I don't know what that guy's up to. He made some exciting plays, but you know what I mean? I mean, the depth is just outrageous. And then when you think we're rotating 6 receivers in, we're playing 6 guys. Like, they're all getting meaningful snaps. Like last year, we had Austin Mack, KJ Hill, Ben Victor, all seniors. Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Jamison Williams saw snaps. We got tight ends on the field too that can catch the ball. How about Jeremy Ruckert? One hand, mom. I mean, the level of talent is just outrageous. It's outrageous. That's all I've got. I mean, what do you think about? You think that's a pretty good starting group? Because even if you're not starting, you're still getting in.
Yeah, and I think with the loss of Dobbins, I think that will heighten our passing attack to the next level, because I think Fields is going to be that much better. And I think our passing attack is going to be ferocious to where we're still going to run the ball. Don't get me wrong, to where you don't have to have Dobbins just save us down after down. And when he gets hurt, you see the big difference. Of course, it didn't help Fields was hurt too, but you know what I mean. I think the passing attack is going to be something special this year.
Make it the air raid, man. If we can't run the ball, run the Dwayne Haskins offense, you know? We couldn't run the ball that year, but Haskins threw for 5K. Few of the comments in here. Hemphill loves CO2. Julie says Garrett Wilson plays way beyond his years. He's a super talent. Our guy Daryl Mans says Jameson Williams will be the next Ted Ginn. He was compared to him, man. I mean, people are sleeping on Jameson Williams. I'm telling you now. He's going to be making a lot of plays this fall, and you're going to be like, damn, that boy is fast. It's like the Paris Campbell, man. Get him on the jet sweep, get him in the bubble screen, whatever, can make it easier on him right now. He will develop the downfield game. He had a couple issues with drops earlier, as a true freshman. Kid's 18, 19. Give him a break and just watch him run because he's going to be pretty damn good. I think it's about that time, the time everybody's been waiting for clearly. Time for our top 5. We're going to go with our top 5 games. This is the weekly list. Good one from David Hemphill earlier. He suggested top 5 hardest hits in Ohio State history. I like that one. So we'll go ahead and get started. This one, like I said, is listen, I'm struggling over here. I'm going to start saying, man, listen more than you do, Corey. All right, so we're going to start it off with my top 5 Ohio State games of all time. Now, again, this is my list. Feel free, give me all the shit in the world in the comments section. Whatever you want to do is fine. But I want to hear your top 5. And all top 5 for me are recent games. Honorable mention, I've got all the games from the 2002 season. I don't even have any of the 2002 season in here. All right, so if you want to dip out now, go ahead. But number 5, Ohio State at Michigan State in 2014. All right, this was the game. This was the game I knew was make or break for that season for the Buckeyes. Because our only big game of the year, we got embarrassed at home against Virginia Tech. And everybody had written us off. That was it. It was over. We start winning some more games. We're coming together. JT Barrett looks like a superstar at quarterback as a redshirt freshman. We go into Spartan Stadium on a night game in November, which never happened in the Big Ten Conference, and we put up 49 points. I mean, we put up 28 in the first half. It was one of those games where Sparty would score, but we just kept answering. And the turning point in the game came on a missed field goal, and then the very next play, Michael Thomas took a slant 79 yards for a touchdown. Because here's another Demario McCall comparison. Trey Wilson. Trey Wilson muffs the kickoff. Sparty scores to make it 21-14. He muffs the kickoff, and they get it just about in the red zone. And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? We force a 3-and-out. They got to kick a field goal. They miss the field goal, and Michael Thomas goes 79 yards on the next play to tie it. Devin Smith caught a 50-yard touchdown a minute later to make it 28-21. And that game, 49-37, was when I knew this team could be something special. Moving on, number 4, later on that season, final game of the season, the national championship game. This was the first national championship game that I really could watch. I mean, I was almost 9 when we won the championship in 2002. And believe me, it was a huge deal. I was screaming. My whole family was freaking out. Big party. It was great. But this one was special because I was in college. I really knew I had a good mindset around the game as a whole, the team. I knew everything about the team, and I kind of did back then too. My dad would quiz me on names of players and stuff. But the national championship, how could you not have it on the list? Zeke Elliott goes for 246 and 4 touchdowns. Are you kidding me? 4 touchdowns, number 4 on my list. Moving at number 3, a game I just talked about a little bit ago was the game, and there's Paris Campbell practicing social distancing against the Wolverines. You may remember this game because Dwayne Haskins threw for 396 yards and 6 touchdowns. I will be telling people about that until the day I die. This was Urban Meyer's final game in the shoe. Everybody thought we were going to get waxed. The Wolverines come in with a highly ranked defense, number 1 defense in the country, and we hang a 60-piece on them. Corey, you and I did that game live. We were laying on the floor at halftime because McCall just let him back in it. Your brother and cousin brought us Wendy's. We couldn't even eat it. So nervous. Man, that was one of the most fulfilling days of my life, and I didn't do a thing to bring it on myself except get nervous and watch us put 62 on the Wolverines. Number 2 for me, another version of the game, double overtime. Curtis Samuel wins it. I was there with my dad. Loudest experience of my life, of course, as you can imagine. Major win. 2 versus 3 goes in. It's the first overtime ever in the game history. Goes into double overtime. Urban Meyer's trying to pump up the crowd on 4th down for the Wolverines. Somehow they managed to score a touchdown on 4th down. It was incredible. Silenced the crowd, but not for long. Of course, JT, the famous spot. Spot was good, by the way. It was good. He got the first down. Next play, Curtis Samuel. Chris Fowler with a great call. Ohio State wins. Oh, an iconic photo as well. That's number 2 for me. But number 1, I imagine a lot of people have this one on their lists. The Sugar Bowl, when Zeke went 85 yards through the heart of the South, as you can see on your screen right there. 42-35 over Bama. We slayed the king of the SEC finally. It's a storybook season. And it's funny because for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes after this game, I was worried about Oregon and playing them in the national title game because they about hung 60 on Florida State. My dad said, no, are you kidding? We just won the national championship. That was our national championship. I didn't even care if we lost to Oregon because finally we could shut up Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide. Steve Miller, the defensive end who nobody had really heard of, senior, picks off the pass for Amari Cooper and takes it the distance for 6. I woke up my brothers and sisters by yelling. My stepmom was pissed. It was a beautiful day in Buckeye lore. And that's my top 5. That's my top 5. Kind of a long-winded way to give it to you. And I was looking at my notes here. I don't have any sort of comments, but I can get to them. Corey, you want to take over? You want to hit some comments first?
Julie says, if you haven't already considered it, here's an idea for the future you guys with a game day booth on campus.
Hey. If the Bucks
David gave his top 5. 1, 2006 OSU Michigan. 2, OSU Alabama 2014. 3, 2014 OSU Oregon. 4, 2002 OSU Miami. And 5, 2018 OSU Michigan. And Julie said, my absolute favorite recent history, Sugar Bowl 2015, especially living in Georgia.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, we're going to get a lot of these. I feel like a lot of people have a lot of the same games in mind, especially national title game seasons. But I'm interested to hear your take here, Corey, before we sign off.
Yeah, we had a couple of the same. Some people may not like my top 5, and that is okay. Some people that get the clip later, that's okay. Starting at number 5. The game that started it all in 2014. If you don't win this game, you're going absolutely nowhere. You're at home. No national championship. The Big Ten title game where Cardale Jones was born. 59-0. We all remember it. The beatdown of all beatdowns. You know, Devin Smith needs some love because he broke out in that game. 4 for 137 and 3 touchdowns. When you have 4 catches and 3 touchdowns, you are pretty darn good. Zeke did his thing as well, 220 yards. Number 5 for me, just for me, because in 2014, without that beatdown for us to jump to number 4, none of the other stuff would have happened. Thank you, Mr. Cardale Jones, for stepping in and lighting up those Badgers, and they have never been the same since. Rest in peace.
Facts.
Number 5. Let's move on to number 4. Some people may disagree with this being number 4, but it's the Sugar Bowl. Number 4, I call it the Zeke game. That's all you need to know. Zeke run down their throat, send Nick Saban home, cry about your press conference later, yell at a reporter, who cares? And you can't forget about that Michael Thomas catch from Evan Spencer. That was a beauty in itself. That was the birth of Michael Thomas. And now look at him. Look at him now. Best receiver in the game. At me. People say don't at me, but they really want added at. At me. Yes. Michael Thomas, Alabama, Sugar Bowl, Zeke, number 4, sprung us to the championship. And Jake is right. Once we beat Alabama, Oregon was just a formality. Let's go to number 3. Double OT. Now listen, this is the part of Urban that I hated, was this right here. When your quarterback has 30 carries, it makes you want to barf up your lunch and your dinner and whatever you had. JT up the middle 30 times. Lord help us. And on 4th down, do it again. The spot was right. Double OT. Curtis Samuel, I believe I can fly celebration for the victory. Yes. Michigan fans are still crying over this loss. Let them cry. Get a pair of khakis. It doesn't matter. We win again. That took a couple years off my life, and I understand it. When it's at number 3, there's a lot of games you can put here, but I put that there because it was double OT, and it made me cry tears of joy. Move to number 2, please, my guy G. The game. 2006. I remember it like it was yesterday. 1 vs. 2, 3:30 on ABC. Whoever wins goes to the national title. And some people wanted the rematch, and now I wish it kind of was because we would have beat them again and we'd be champs. But that's here nor there. Troy Smith, still to me, the best quarterback that I've seen wear an Ohio State jersey today. I don't care about numbers and records. I'm talking about eye test. And this man developed into a quarterback, and he was a beast for Ohio State. If you don't remember this game, or if for some reason you didn't see it, I don't know, pull it up on YouTube. This was the game of games. I know people say, well, how come you have it number 2? If it was the game of games, well, you're going to see in a second here. But number 2, the game, 1 vs. 2, and on to number 1. The National Championship 2002. It may not have been the prettiest game. It may not have been a spectacle on offense, but we were not supposed to win. If you bet us in Vegas, you're rich right now. I got a couple of numbers just to show you how it wasn't the greatest game. Craig Krenzel was 7 of 21 for 122 yards and 2 picks. Put that in your capsule. 7 of 21, 122 and 2 picks. He didn't even throw a touchdown. But it doesn't matter. Maurice Clarett had the play of the game, and it was on defense. Let that sink in. On defense. Stripping it from Sean Taylor. Rest in peace. That is the number 1 game for me. I jumped out of my shoes, my jeans, my socks, ran around the living room, and it was pass interference. Shut up. I don't care what you think. That's the number 1 game. And Kellen Winslow did kill us, but that's not, pun intended, I'm sorry. But Kellen Winslow was a beast in that game. Woo! He gave me nightmares, but that's the number 1 game. The game we weren't supposed to win. The greatest college football team in Miami. Oh, shut up. We won, hoisted the trophy in the air. My first national championship that I remember, 2002 versus Miami.
It's hard to go away from that, man. Honestly, I was, 8 years old, 9 years old. Now, these are the games in my top 5 that I watch on repeat. And I watch old games. I watch the Holy Buckeye game against Purdue. I remember where I was for that game at my granny's house with my mom. It was just us 3 and my great grandma. And, a lot of games could make that list, obviously. So,
it was hard. It was hard to leave that off. I remember where I was working at Sutherland back in the day, running to the break room on the 4th down play with Krenzel and Jenkins.
Damn.
That was hard. That was hard not to put that on there.
I know. There are a few that, kind of dug at me a little bit. Brian Rieger asked how the defense is going to look this year. Kerry Combs is back, as Kyle Barr said. Excited about that. We'll probably go back to the 2 safeties and 2 corners. We did a lot of single high safety with 3 corners last year. When you've got corners like Okuda, Wade, and Arnett, and then a blanket safety over the back like Jordan Fuller, you can make that happen. I'm not sure we have that this year, so maybe we will, but we can get into more of that next show. Julie said regarding Devin Smith, he's a super cool dude, very humorous and friendly. She met him on the 10th anniversary cruise for cancer. That's pretty sweet. I got to get on that, man. I got to get on the cruise for cancer somehow. What's up, Andre, on Twitter? He's laughing at something. I don't know. Who knows, man? Brian on YouTube says it was hard to work after the 0-2 championship the next day. I believe that. I know everybody had a pretty piercing headache from what I recall. Andre says he attended the Purdue game. Andre,
wow.
How were your seats? Were your
wow.
Let us know about were you getting some shit from the Purdue faithful? Joe Tiller, and I want to say Kyle Orton was the quarterback. Man, that's interesting. Let us know if that pops back up. Andre's response. That's what's up. Lee Travis said Joe Exotic for President 2020. Corey, you been watching any of this Tiger King stuff?
No, I've heard about it, but I haven't watched it.
All right, no spoilers. I got 2 episodes left. They're only 7 episodes, and they're like 45 minutes tops. I tell you, it's absurd. I don't know. I'm wasting my time watching it, but I can't look away.
I just see the cover and I'm like, it doesn't even remotely catch my interest. I'm just like, I'm too busy watching money.
The first episode shouted out Zanesville, Ohio for that zoo catastrophe about 10 years ago. At first I was like, Zanesville, what up? And then I saw all the dead animals and, that was a tragedy. But Lee, I'm not so sure that's going to happen, but you can write him in to vote. That's all I got for this week's show. Chris Hersey agrees. Supporter Chris Hersey says Buckeye Cruise for Cancer is a great time. I got to get on there, man. I don't know I don't know if I need to donate $100,000 to the university. I might have to take out a loan for that. But Andre says that he was not getting any smoke from the Purdue faithful, and that pass quieted the crowd. Man, I would have loved to have been there. That'd be a good top 5 places or moments you wish you could have seen in person.
Yes, man.
I'm gonna write that down. But appreciate everybody that hung here with us tonight. All the new graphics with producer G, of course. Give it up again for one time for him. I mean, this is looking like some pretty serious stuff. You can see this on television, man. G sent us a video of I don't know if it was Undisputed, Skip and Shannon, something like that, and it was like, he's like, man, this is the stuff it looks like we're doing. I mean, our stuff looks better if you ask me, but we'll get maybe the Big Ten Network will put us up, or maybe Ohio State will take the Texas approach and just get their own network, and maybe they'll put us on. Chris says he's been on 4 Buckeye Cruise for Cancers, man. That is crazy. Take me next time, brother.
Or, man.
I know.
Jeez.
David says, please become a supporter of this awesome show. Love Jake and Corey. Thank you, David, man. Thank you so much for everything you guys do.
Appreciate
and Julie
that,
as well. Yeah, she says you can get it on it for a pretty good deal. So I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm going to have to check that out. But that's all I got for this night, Corey. How about you?
That's it. Just like you said, appreciate every single one of you. Appreciate the supporters, sending stars, all that. Shout out to Producer G once again, making us look great. If it wasn't for Producer G, y'all already know what this show will look like if it wasn't for Producer G. To see two dudes talking with nothing else going on. So shout out to Producer G for making us look good. We really appreciate it. A lot of people don't shout out their producers. They take all the credit. But without the producer, the show don't go on. So shout out to you, my guy, and everybody.
I almost said something that could have gotten me in trouble, so I'm going to stay away from it. An impression of a former colleague, but I'll leave that to Producer G because he's the champ. Appreciate everybody again, man. It's been great. I wish we had a spring game to talk about in 2 weeks, but just hang in there, man. Stay safe, stay happy, and do the best you can. Look at the positives.
Yeah. Stay at home too. Please stay at home. All right. I don't want you driving all willy-nilly just to do it. Please. For me.
Stay at home, man. If you don't stay home, every step you take outside of your house is another step away from football season. All right. We got to take care of this now.
Right.
Because Herbie's talking about we might not even have football season. Man, shut your mouth first off, Herbie. Don't be putting that stuff out there. We don't need that negative energy in the universe, all right? Take care of business now. Don't be stupid. Stay home so we can all watch football when it should start on time, and then we'll all be happy again. It'll be fantastic.
I do too, Laura. I'm talking about outside of work. People just all willy-nilly. That's all I'm talking about. But yeah.
If you got to work, I understand, but keep it safe, man. Do what you got to do, but hey. Lee says we need Producer G on a top 5. Totally agree with that. And Julie says you can get on the cruise. Chris said we could do a show on the cruise, man. Can you imagine?
Wow, yeah, right.
We got to get the supporters on that, man. Help us out. You guys are the ones going on the cruise. You got the deep pockets. You got the you know who to talk to. Yeah, Julie's just only leaving to get groceries. I feel it, man. Yeah. Tough stuff. But we'll be back 2 weeks. If you're not a supporter, you're missing out. We'll be bringing you stuff this week, next week, and whatnot, and we'll get through it together, man. Be smart.
Yeah. That's it.
Shout out Corey Boyd, Producer G, as always. Thank you for tuning in. The Everything Buckeye Nation show. Like and share. We'll see you next time. Go Bucks and OH.
I-O.
Peace out.